Hello and welcome to our first live pregame show. We're taking you into kickoff today here on Cowboys Takeover. I am Aaron James. Glad you could join us this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our boy, wise counsel, Jason Kent. Jason, how you doing today, man?
Oh, it's a beautiful Sunday. I'm just ready for some football. I'm ready for the game. It's nice. It's a 4:25 start. You got all day. Get prepped up. Get ready for the game. I'm expecting some big things today from that offense, and I'm ready for game time. I'm ready. We got about 15 minutes left, so we know kickoff's coming soon. We know who the inactives are. It kind of stinks a little bit seeing Cooks and Smith both missing today. Um, but I think we should still make do. They don't have, I think the Jets, most of their guys that were doubtful this week. I think Mekhi Becton, and I think somebody else, a pretty big name, but they're both so far active. So let's see how we do. Let's see how we're doing without missing a starting offensive lineman, and a guy that we thought would be a big piece coming in Cooks. But I'm just let's go. Let's get it started, baby.
That's right. I'm right there with you, man. Got the game day swag on. Like I mentioned on our pregame show, I'm going to be adding to the swag if so long as we keep our winning streak going. I was a little bit nervous looking at the injury report because Zach Martin was listed as questionable going into today's game with a groin, and the groin always makes me nervous no matter what position. It's such a crucial part to your movements and your cuts. And as you know, and that we've been talking about, we're going to have our hands full with Zach Martin pushing some big guys, Quentin Johnson, moving that D line back so that Tony Pollard can do his thing. So I'm just hoping and praying that Zach Martin can stay healthy for this whole game. I mean, we definitely need him. And if he's 80, 90%, I want him out there. If he was closer to 65, 70, I'd say no, wait.
Yeah, I can't see them putting Zach Martin out there if he is just any little ding. He's important to this season. This is one of those games we discussed like last week is a game we should win, even not at 100%, especially now that Rodgers isn't there. So I think, yeah, if you're worried about Martin, you do sit him. So if he's playing, that tells me they think he's okay, 100%. Nothing really to worry about. Man, but what are you thinking for today? You any nervous missing Tyler Smith though, or Cooks? Do you think that alters the game plan at all this week?
Yeah, I think missing Cooks is going to be a big deal. I think he's a big part of all of our training camp pre-work, and I'm sure there was a lot of play design with him. But like Mike McCarthy said, that his standout for camp was JT, Jalen Tolbert. So where he's definitely going to have an opportunity to get some targets today. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Outside of that, I sprained MCL or UCL is what it came down to with Cooks. So I didn't want him to push it in a game like this where it's going to be a low scoring affair. Yeah, of course, you'd prefer to have him, but you got to think long term. I think, with a 9-point spread, this should be a pretty comfortable win. So I'm not too worried about it.
No, I agree. And I think we should look, we still have a little bit of time left before today's game starts. So so far this week, anything surprised you so far in the season? We're a week in. I think the one thing when I noticed what we talked about, our biggest competition, I think for the NFC, of course, the Eagles, who's to me, we talked about this last week. They're winning the games they should win. They don't look like they did last season. But the other one, the one that really stood out to me, I think was the other team, the San Francisco 49ers, who last week against Pittsburgh, who that's a good defense. Brock Purdy showed up and showed out. Does that kind of change your opinions? I think we were worried about that San Fran team. Does that change your opinion, seeing how good Brock Purdy's playing now in the season, and really make you believe he seemed to come out and play last week and really just ball out, and so far having a good game today?
Yeah, well, I think 49ers definitely had a statement win. There was a lot of speculation that the Steelers and a well-coached team by Mike Tomlin would come out and look to shock everyone. But I think it was kind of a pump the brakes moment. They still have Kenny Pickett as their quarterback, starting the season with a very, very tough defense. But I think we're going to see a little bit more. I'm not surprised with the performance they had. I mean, if you take away Christian's 65-yard run or so, it was still a very productive day, but not a top 3 for the week if he doesn't spin out of some tackles and break loose. I think we're going to learn a little bit more now that they go up against a division rival in the LA Rams this afternoon. So I kind of want to see how they're going to play there. Aaron Donald, we got to almost mention him every week that we pull together. He had an amazing week last week, and if he does that again, Brock Purdy is going to be, probably some inerrant throws on his.
So far today, he's 5 for 5 for 41 yards. So he seems to be doing well. It is scary. I do think they handle that team pretty easily. But let's turn to a team that we're going to see twice this season in the Eagles, who, that week 1, they really seem like they underperform against that New England team, but they're better than this, so they won. And this last week, that offense, yes, they got the touchdowns and they did beat Minnesota. It was a much closer game than you thought it would be. But Jalen Hurts just doesn't look like the same guy he was last year. I know he had that big touchdown pass to Devonta Smith and another big play to him as well. But it just seemed like, the first one, the ball was drastically underthrown. This team doesn't look now. Yes, it's week 2, the new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. So there's still a lot to learn and get into. But just watching them give you kind of, okay, I think we're a little bit better than this team right now when you just watch them play throughout the season so far.
Absolutely. The first 2 weeks, Jalen Hurts does not look like the MVP candidate through the first 2 games. So he didn't finish. He's not looking as polished. You saw some of the friction that A.J. Brown brought to the table during the game against the Vikings. And also you kind of saw them wave the flag in some regard to just going straight to the run. DeAndre Swift had I believe 170 yards, at least one touchdown. He was robbed of 2 touchdowns because they played their unstoppable QB sneak play, which I was a little annoyed about having Swift on my fantasy team.
Having Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team, I was pretty happy they did it twice. I'm not going to lie.
But I was actually, when one of those, they ran that QB sneak, I think maybe 3 at least, if not 4 plays. And in one of the instances, I was looking at the O linemen and they weren't moving, like they weren't getting up. And I'm like, oh man, did someone get hurt? Because, when you run that play so much, I think you got to pay a little bit of attention as to, protecting your QB, because you get helmets and you get bodies trying to jump over that line.
Well, wasn't it last season? Isn't that how Mahomes got hurt? It wasn't a QB sneak, I think, last year where Mahomes, I think it was his ACL or something. And that's where, I think he missed a game or 2 trying to do that QB sneak.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Who would you say is your, the best QB sneaking quarterback we've seen?
Well, it's kind of hard to go against just the Eagles team with Jalen Hurts, but in all time, Tom Brady, that's where I don't understand, because Tom Brady mastered that play. And there was a point where Tom Brady was like 25 or 20. It was some ridiculous number on like 4th downs or like something close, like what Jalen Hurts has been doing. So it's kind of annoying to have it make a big deal now when nobody cared when Tom was doing it. But yeah, there was always, Tom was beautiful. His masterpiece, that QB sneak. And I think that's where a lot of people get it from now.
Now, Drew Brees was pretty good himself. He would just arch that, reach over that O-line and then bring that ball in to get the yardage that he needs. So I'm a big Drew Brees fan when it comes to the QB sneaks. But yeah, I mean, I think Tom Brady probably had, if I had to guess, had more attempts than almost anyone else.
Yeah. So, man, well, what are we, 4 minutes away from kickoff? Real quick, any big surprises 2 weeks into the season? To me, I think Atlanta Falcons won. They're 2-0. And Today there was a lot of like that Indy team looked good. There's a lot of teams that people aren't expecting, I think, so far. Like Indy's looking pretty good. Houston, Houston played Indy. They looked okay. Atlanta's undefeated so far early in this season. What would you say is your biggest shock so far 2 weeks in? Halfway, well, not even a week and a half. We're just now at the 4 p.m. games.
Yeah, I would say so far for me, it's the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love. He just seems to be in control of that offense. I've been really impressed with what he's been doing in the short season we've had so far. Now they're in the so they just went final 25-24 Atlanta, which is another team that with Desmond Ritter.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
would
why I
say,
was really shocked.
yeah.
Yeah, that team's very. The run game looks, they used that rookie Robinson much more this week than they did last week, and I think another one. On you look at Atlanta at 2-0, we got Cincinnati 0-2, and Joe Burrow has looked plain awful. I wonder if because Jalen Hurts got paid, hasn't looked like himself. Joe Burrow just got paid, and through 2 weeks of the season, he is not looking good. I wonder if they're going to start looking at. I doubt it, but they're paying these quarterbacks a lot of money, and the last two guys that got paid are not performing at all. But that's Cincinnati 0-2, and I think just with how Joe Burrow looked has been very shocking to me so far.
Yeah, that's got to be a top three concern for sure overall in the league. Now let's talk a little bit about Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs. They were upset last week at the home opener, and now today they traveled to Jacksonville, and everyone knew it was going to be a tough game, playoff game rematch from last year. Let's see here. I'm looking for the.
He just hasn't looked the same. It's right now the AFC does not look like there's no team that is stars. There's nobody standing out. Yes, it's early in the season, so it's tough. But with the way Kansas City looked last week, the way they didn't really look against Kansas City, against Jacksonville today, you wonder. Kelsey's hurt. You wonder now how much maybe getting rid of a lot of his weapons, and now that Kelsey's getting hurt, how much was he dependent on those guys? Because I get it. When you lose, an all-pro like Hill, he comes back last year, still threw 40-plus touchdowns, over 4,000 yards, looked fantastic. How much can you keep it up with these guys that just aren't great receivers?
Yeah, I'm with you. Tony had some big drops last week. I did watch a couple drives on Red Zone. I'm a big Red Zone fan. But Tony did look a little bit better today. I'm not sure if he had any drops, but I did catch some of his catches. And, he plays with a lot of swag and a lot of pride. So I'm sure, things will rebound quickly for him.
Switching from one Tony to the next, I love the fact that Romo is doing this game today. I can't remember. I don't even know if we've been on ABC with it. It looks like they're getting ready for kickoff. So let's go to you. I know we discussed this a little bit last week because we are Jets. What do they need to do today for our, people that may not have, saw us on Wednesday, Thursday? What do the Jets need to do today to really come away with a win against our Dallas Cowboys today?
Yeah. So as we talked about in our pregame, Jets need to trust in their defense, limit their turnovers. My prediction, they need to keep the Cowboys under 13 points to sneak out with a W. What do you got for them, Jason?
To me, I really believe it's going to be they have to create turnovers on defense, and they have to have 125 plus rushing yards to win, because I do believe it's going to have to be that ball control offense with Zach Wilson in there, kind of like the Jets did or the Giants did last week, that first drive. I think you're going to see heavy doses early in this game of Hall and Cook, and really see what they have, because I think that'll open it up later in the game. for a lot of that play action. So I think, they have to cause multiple turnovers, and it really has to be, you need to see 150 plus rushing yards from the offense. And I think I think it's 16. I don't think it's 13. I think 16 or less. I think they can win this game.
All right. So Cowboys are receiving to start this game. Started off with a run with Tony Pollard up for about 4 yards.
Let's go. We did. Yeah. Pollard just had a good one. Cowboys. How do you think they perform? They win this game if
they win the turnover battle. And like I mentioned before, I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep and Pollard just broke off for another strong run.
That offensive line is looking good. They're pushing that Jets defense line around.
They're moving really good. I like those 2 plays off the bat. I think they're trying to come out and make a statement. So it's not going to bother me. I'm not going to lose any sleep if Dak throws an interception. If we have 2 turnovers, so long as our defense spots us an extra turnover on top. So Pollard now leading the team with 3 touches, 2 runs, and just caught 1 pass for about 5 yards.
He was one of the guys I saw earlier. They said you could be in big performance today. I was reading when I was doing some search. A lot of the Dallas Cowboys beat writers were talking because they didn't really need him last week. There's somebody they didn't have to rely on. That defense really showed out, and so you didn't even really need Dak to do anything. But to me, I agree. I think Dak can't throw interceptions. If Dak starts throwing interceptions, it's going to be tough. You don't want to play from behind if you're this team, because the Jets they did get to Josh Allen 5 times. They had 3 interceptions. So you got to play smart. So if Cowboys win, really just don't turn the ball over. And, Dak's got to show up. I think Dak needs to play big today, because this is a sneaky game where I think the Jets could come away with one here. Because I think people are undervaluing Zach Wilson. He's been in the system. He was there last year with Saleh. So I think people are really looking past this Jets team.
Big 3rd and 2, first third down conversion. We got CeeDee Lamb with a catch.
But what do you think? What are you thinking, Aaron? You think, because I'm not so, do you think people are undervaluing Zach Wilson, or do you think he's just a bad quarterback?
I do think he's a below average quarterback. So do I want him starting quarterback on my team? No, he's like a bottom 10 quarterback. A flag on the play. We got CeeDee Lamb with a deep out route. The offense is moving up, so it looks like it's going to be on the defense.
Probably some pass interference or holding. Yeah,
yep, we got holding.
He's so good. And I think today, with Cook out, with Cook's missing the game, I do think you're going to see. Oh, that was a good play. Yeah, they tried to hold him, and he still got open. I think you're going to see a couple big shots this week. I really want to see some. I think you were right. I want to see some to Gallup, but I do want to see some to CD too. Even with him being a smaller receiver, he's still a guy that can go up and get it, and he has his body control is so. It's what you see with. He reminds me of like Jordy Nelson, could contort his body. I remember watching him make sideline catches, and they're 2 different body types, but the way he just moves, it reminds me a lot of the way Jordy used to just kind of catch those sideline passes. But I think I undervalued CD earlier in the season.
I think you did.
I think I undervalued.
I know you did. I know you did. So we got 2nd and 8. Pollard comes down with it on a check down pass. They stop him right away. It looks like maybe a 2-yard gain if they count that progress there. But we're looking pretty sharp. Now we're coming another 2nd, 3rd down of the drive. I would like to keep it at 100% conversion rate.
See, I think this is a very crucial for us too. You don't want to let the Jets linger. When you get into the red zone, let's go. When you get into the red zone, they need to take touchdowns here. And this is what a great way to start the game. If they come out and score here, they're pretty much doing whatever they want. Yeah, that was a beautiful
Zach.
Man, he looks good, and he's still taking hits. That I didn't like the hit take there.
He wants. I think
that was unnecessary.
Game. I mean, that's against a small DB. So Zach scrambles, converts the third down very nicely. We're looking at 1st and goal here. And man, if we come out with a touchdown opening
That's
drive,
huge. Yeah, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is Arnie a friend of yours? And is he
yes,
a Jets fan?
he told me he's a free agent.
He's a free
this year.
agent, bro. If you're a free agent, come over to the Cowboys. It's beautiful.
No, so he's been a free agent for I think 2 or 3 times the past 5-6 years. So we're looking for the Dallas Cowboy fans for life.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
can't have him leaving soon, so that's
what we're looking for. He followed Aaron Rodgers. He was a Packers fan, and now he moved on to the Jets, and now he's kind of in limbo because Rodgers is supposed to be out for the season. 2nd and goal.
Yo, they're coming out power from the 3.
Oof.
I don't like it. I don't
Stuff.
like power from the 3. So what are you seeing so far? What are you seeing? We have, a full drive pretty much. About over 5 minutes clock time. What have you seen so far? What are we liking? I think this offensive line, even missing Smith, they really, besides that last play, they really seem to be handling themselves pretty well and really pushing them around.
Yeah, that seems to be, the number one thing right now. I know Micah Parsons came out and said our home atmosphere has to be different this time.
Let's go, Jake.
Jake Ferguson on the out route.
The tone for last week.
In for the touchdown. He caught that one.
Nice little dive between 2 guys. That was a perfect first drive. I don't think we could have put it together any better. You saw exactly what you wanted to see against a good defense. We ran the ball very well. I think our offensive line dominated. When Dak had that little bit of pressure, he was able to escape. I think a couple times he escaped and really made the play to keep drives alive. Beautiful drive. That's the way they need to come out. And Dak played well. Dak came out after last week, kind of having a stinker, couple drops. I think that's the way you want to start out that game. And that's what I was saying. This is what we need. We need to have touchdowns. We need to put this team away. We don't want to let them hang around because the Jets are a team, they beat the Bills. The Bills let them hang around. Bills couldn't put them away. They came back at the end and won it in overtime. We can't settle for field goals after watching last week. They need to put it away when you get in the red zone. Great first drive.
Absolutely. And so I meant to pay attention and see who won the coin toss because I'm pretty certain last week we deferred because you want, especially on the way, you don't want to let the crowd into it with like a 3 and out. You want to go out there and you make a statement and quiet the crowd. My guess would be that Jets won this coin toss and elected to defer because they wanted their defense to go out first, play that field position is likely what they had in their mind. So it's great to see we came away with that drive right down their throats.
5 for 5, 41 yards from Dak. Just
3 for 3 on third downs.
Just diming them. He was diming them down the field, and that was a great. When I first saw that play, the Ferguson, the touchdown, I really thought, man, okay, we're just settling. Ferguson made a play. I was happy. I'm happy because that's what we need. He's going to get a lot of those. I think after last week, I think we did see him, drop a few passes. So it's good to see him get that first catch, get there, get in that end zone. Let's get us that lead. No drops today. I'm excited to see, not excited. I want to see how this defense responds now.
Yes.
Do you think they're the Jets offensive line's a little bit better than the Giants? Want to see how that momentum carries over. I want to see what Micah does. And I'm really nervous about the run game. I really am, because last week we did talk about it in all offseason. That's why we drafted Mozzie. Let's see. Honestly, too, let's go back. I'm going to Tony Romo with this. I think the Jets come out play action because we're expecting them to run. Everybody's expecting Zach Wilson not to do much. They might come out and take a shot the first play. So we got to be careful. That wouldn't
surprise me. How many trick plays would you say they try to come up with?
Not a lot. I don't think a lot. I think it's going to be more. It'll depend too on if they score. Like if Dallas can blow it away early, if they can get a stop early, go up 10, get that field goal, get another stop, put up some points. If they can get a 17, now we're getting Zach Wilson. Now he has to pass. And that's not what you want to see. So I think that's why all these touchdowns are going to be crucial. But I don't think a lot. I think first play, probably you may see something here, a big shot on first down just because nobody's expecting it. But he is a dude that he's a top 3 pick. He's been in the system with Saleh now. So he knows the game. And I'm sure sitting with Rodgers, regardless, however long they were together, just he got to pick Rodgers' brain.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you get to sit there and talk to one of the greatest ever, even for a few months in that position, it's gotta help open it up a little bit for him. And he has talent. When he's playing before, they didn't have talent. It was a Jets team that was pretty bad. I do think the offense, they have weapons. So it should be fun to see. It should be a good game. Here we go. Let's see.
So
I'm
Zach,
calling big bomb.
I'm calling a run. You called play action. So we got a touchback by Aubrey and Zach Wilson at the line, about to run his play.
Let's go.
And he
Okay, we shut it down.
Leveled. Bryce
Dexter
Hall.
Lawrence. You can't run to the outside. You can't run outside on this team. No. Against either side. Against this team, you gotta run up the middle. This team is too fast to go sideline to sideline.
Nasty.
It's too fast.
They haven't seen a defense like this. They Bills D line, nothing.
See, that's where it is, though. I think this is what's so good. If we get this team in a lot of second and long, third and longs, that works out for us.
2nd and 14. We're gonna see what type of confidence they have in their QB and what they have here. So Zach Wilson out of the shotgun does throw.
Came out look good. Nice little pass on some off coverage.
Got a completion. Yeah.
You got some yardage back. So listen, I think that's best case scenario for them. That's what they're going to do. I think it's going to be a lot of those quick plays like that and a lot of running. They'll take their shots eventually if they can open up that ground game. If Dallas can shut down the run, it's going to be tough for the Jets to win. So I think that's the big thing.
A 3rd and 5. Wilson appears to be marking the middle linebacker. We got all of our D lines on him.
Micah just walloped him.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Micah's crawling again. Man.
This team is, that's what.
Jeez.
What a good, stunt, bro. That defensive line, Micah, God. Look at that stunt. They popped it for him, and he just. Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm worried about the Jets, but if you can get them in distances where those guys know they're passing, this defensive line is too good. They have too much talent against any team.
Jeez.
I think the real test, it's going to be San Fran. It's not going to be till San Fran. That's going to be the test. A team that has a real run game, that can really challenge this defensive line and force them to guard the run, to really, run blitz and not be able to just pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. That's the way we need to start this game. You go down, you dominate that offense, and that defense shuts them down. What a beauty. That's the way we start it, baby. That's the way it starts.
All right. So bold predictions. I put this up on intentionally because I meant to share this before kickoff, but there was just no break in Jason Kent's commentary. He just, I thought he would take a breath.
He doesn't breathe. No. He's got gills.
So my bold prediction for this game is that we are going to have, like our last game, enough points by the end of the first quarter to win.
What a bold prediction.
Doesn't look crazy now.
It doesn't. No, because let's see how they do here. I really think it's going to, if they come out and they can run the ball here, a touchdown here, you may be right. If they come out and score, they have a very good opportunity of just blowing this team out. And I get it's the Jets and I get it's less Aaron Rodgers. But if you come out and have another 25-point win, 20-point win,
mm-hmm.
That's not only are you winning the game you're supposed to, you're beating the teams like you're supposed to. You're not allowing the competition to hang around. So the Eagles, yes, they're winning the games, but they're letting, eventually that does bite you in the butt. Bills last week let the Jets hang around. Last week we put the Giants out early. If we do that again this week, you got to be talking about Dallas as a number one team in the rankings coming up this week. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm so ready for the rest of this game.
Yes,
I am jazzed.
Dude, that's a good point, and we need to talk about that. Whether it be later today in our post game, but the power rankings. If we win, let's just say by 20 points over the Jets, and all of our points are provided by offensive power, not so much defensive turnovers per se. Should we be moving up in the rankings and overtake the Eagles based on difficulty of schedule
and
thus
performance? It has to be a performance. If Dallas comes out today and this offense, the way if their offense looks like this all day, they should be the number one team. And I don't care who you play. If you're beating teams soundly in the NFL, the average game is a touchdown game. It's less than a touchdown. So when you're blowing teams out by that, yeah, you have to take that in consideration in your power rankings. But that is definitely something I think we're going to get into in the post game. We'll be back. Really thank you for everybody that viewed in today for the pregame. We're so excited. And I'm so glad we could bring you those first two drives. I know Aaron is as well. We'll be back here right after the game to bring you guys the post-game production, talk about what went right, if anything went wrong, and how many sacks Mike is going to get, because he looks like he's eating. He's averaging a sack a drive so far. He could be in for a 5-sack game. You never know. But we'll catch you guys on the post-game right here after the game. Go Boys.
Let's go.